Let's finally begin.
Splendid.
This will be Nimdom #1 podcast. Hopefully first of many. I think we'll decide on how frequently we'll do them in the future. But yeah, this is the first one. And just a quick introduction. We can go from left to right in terms of everybody. So just introduce yourselves and a little bit by yourselves.
Okay, so hey everyone. It's
Wait,
me.
you're not the furthest left.
You're not the
It's
furthest
different
left, so-
depending on Discord, though.
God damn it.
Oh.
Alright, fine. Let's go
Right.
from Sarius, Amps, Legion, Za, Ether, and then I'll go last.
Alright.
Hi, I'm Sirius. I'm a mod in the Discord. I haven't been playing long and I haven't been playing many Fire Emblem games, but I hope I'll be helpful here.
I'm Amps. I'm an admin of the Nimdom. I've been playing FEH since launch, and I've only played 3 FEH games, which is Awakening, Fates, and Echoes. And Fates is the best game.
What?
Alright. Well, I'm Legion. I'm one of the sub-moderators on the Nimdom. I have been playing Fire Emblem Heroes since launch and have been involved in Fire Emblem in the past with Sacred Stones, Awakening, Fates, and Shadows of Valencia. I should be hopefully of some value, being that I have had... I'm currently embroiled in the arena experience.
Great. Also, whose bomb was that?
Serious.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Was your popcorn?
No, it was a timer.
Okay. What's Za doing?
So,
Za,
Okay.
please. This is super unprofessional.
it's me. Okay, so I am the local gay pole boy, as my tag represents me. I am the local infamous guy who's going to get banned eventually.
What is your name?
I have played every single fight.
What, really?
So, yes,
Are you admitting to be piracy right now?
yes.
Okay, okay.
Hey buddy, what's your name?
Take that, U.S. government. What are you gonna do?
Also, you didn't say your name, sir. I don't know
Also,
who you
my
are.
name is Zorodo. I played FEH since last year. On January 1st, I started New Year's.
Oh, wow.
I'm fairly new to the game.
Yeah, that's surprisingly new.
Yeah. I didn't start the game because I wasn't into gachas. I'm like, no, I'm bored. Let's start. And then I've led into this rabbit hole of gacha hell. Not get out of it. Please help.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Ether?
And I'm Ether Dragon, or people call me by Ether. I've just been in the Nimdom since like August of 2017 or something, and I haven't played any mainstream Fire Emblem games. Fire Emblem Heroes is the first Fire Emblem game I have experience with. It's the only mobile game I really play. I don't play any other game, so I spend a lot of time in the game. That's all.
Alright, cool. So that's everybody. In the future, we'll have more guests, people outside the Nimdom as well, and people generally in the Nimdom. But for the first one, it's us. Okay, so our first topic, of course, is Start FEH. Why'd you start? And I think I'll start this off because... Wait, I didn't introduce myself. Whatever, people know who I am.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hopefully they do.
Good.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you're Nimbonians.
So, I think a lot of people, when they look back at when they first started FEH, it's with like a lot of fond memories. And for me, I started in the first week. I was still in university. I've since graduated, of course. But I was still in university. All my friends were starting the game. And I always loved Fire Emblem. Even though people are going to call me a fake fan because I don't finish enough of the Fire Emblem games, I at least try all of them. I did finish some of them. And a lot of time I spent in them was when I was a kid. So the prospect of getting, not only at the time it was like the 3rd Nintendo game to come out on mobile, so it was big. So for the prospect of it coming to mobile games and then just having a game on the cell phone that will play like frequently, that was cool. So I tried it and I just absolutely fell in love with Fire Emblem Heroes. Like I would wake up in the middle of the night because stamina back then was only 50 stamina. So I would wake up in the middle of the night because I didn't want to waste stamina. I wanted to get further in the story. And the game was really challenging back then too, because it wasn't like they didn't have skill inheritance and everything, so there was no broken units and battles would take multiple turns. So you had to really be smart about things, and you had like minor advantages. Color advantage meant a lot too, but yeah, the game was super complex and interesting at the time. And the story, little do we know, the story wasn't so bad at the start because you're like, oh, it's just gonna get better. This is just launch week stuff. And anyways, that was the young Nimius prospect of starting up in FEH. I don't regret starting FEH, by the way, but that's my start. I loved it though.
Unlike Nim, I started really late. I started around January, so I had like Hero Fest 2. I had the Legendary Banner.
You were
Tournament,
spoiled when you started. You were spoiled.
It's great. Like I never rerolled. My first summon was 2 Ikes and 1 Jenny from the first free pull on that Hero Fest banner, and it felt amazing.
Oh my god.
Obviously, it was really fun playing in the beginning, but like I've gone through. But this is the start of the worst meta, and oh boy, when I first saw Bold Fighter Zelgius, I was like, you know, this Zelgius guy, he doesn't seem that strong. Oh, why did he just kill me? What? I'm dead now. Okay, game.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, maybe my favorite character Leaf's here. I'm like, he's still not here. It's been a year. And then he comes out. I'm like, oh yay! I'm like, wait, he got shafted by Reinhardt. He's a mini boss. Why? Where's Finn? Why is he a TT unit? God damn it, game. And that's my Faye experience.
Yeah, you know, that's
Now
actually super surprising. Cause you're one of the few people who started from the old Fire Emblem games, like have experience with them. Most people don't.
I started with Maniac Path of Radiance, which is the really stupidly hard Japanese mode, where the first enemy you fight has 40 HP and like 10 defense, and I just took 10 turns to kill him. It was horrifying, to say the least. Then I played Thracia, and then after that I'm like, you know, let's just do something easy. So I did Sacred Stones, and I screwed around. Somehow managed to beat them all. And also, by the way, Nintendo, please just release the international games, or like at least re-release Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, so people have the chance to play the older games.
Oh, I definitely.
Unlike a virtual shop, it's not that hard.
It really isn't.
If you're gonna get more people to play these games, you should probably re-release them. But Nintendo is a special company, but we still love them.
Do we?
I guess I'll go next. I started Faye on launch day. I was actually really excited because I think at the time I was playing like my 3rd or 4th playthrough of Fates.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah.
You were desperate.
I wasn't desperate. I just really enjoyed the game, and I was like, oh wow, like we're gonna get a mobile version. I could play while I'm in class, or while I'm walking to class, or while I'm in the car.
Tell me you married Elise.
I did not. I did not ever in any of my playthroughs.
Wait, you didn't?
Sure.
You
No.
love her.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna marry a 12-year-old.
Why not?
Why not? She's 18.
Hey, she's
18 in
It's
North America,
actually
dude.
10 in the Japanese game files.
Yeah, they data mined that not too long ago. She's 10.
It's
Wait.
okay. It's okay.
But,
As long as the authorities tell you she's 18, you're fine. You're good.
As long as her brother tells you she's 18.
But I started on launch day, and I was pretty excited. My first like 5-star I got there was Lucina, and like at the time I really liked Lucina. I was a pretty basic fan, just like the Smash characters and Elise.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, Lucina, and I was like, she's actually pretty good in the meta right now. So like I was really excited to have her, and then
It ain't
my next
Lobster
5-star
Boy,
was-
I don't care.
my next 5-star was Elise, oddly. So
Wow.
it really like kept me in the game, and I actually like still to this day enjoy Faye. Like I complain about some things, but most of it I do enjoy.
It's still fun, but like I know IS kinda cares, but they're kind of like, you know what the monkey's paw is, right? Where you wish for something and it comes out in a weird way. They're basically that. We ask for like more stuff for anniversary. They get rid of stuff, then they give us a bunch of RNG 5-stars.
I've
And then
never
we're
heard
like-
of that term before.
The Monkey's Paw. It's actually such an old movie.
It's like
It's
You
an
can
old
wish for whatever you
story.
want, but it will happen, but in the worst way possible. So, for example, if you wished like a loved one back from the dead, they'll come back, but they'll be like a zombie. You know.
Okay.
You wish for
So
all the
that's
money in the
basically
world, but it
Faye.
crushes you. Something like that.
Yep.
My
All right.
Oh, never mind.
No, I,
Go ahead.
I suppose I'll go next then. So I started Fire Emblem Heroes on the second day, actually. I was about to start on the I wasn't going to start on the first day because at the time I didn't know it came out. It wasn't until a friend recommended it to me the next day that I actually decided to go ahead and download it.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since, well, at the time I had only played through Fates, Awakening, and Sacred Stones, so I had a little bit of experience going in, but more so the casual side. And after that, it engrossed me in all of its different characters that I could explore, all the new maps, the unique story that it had set up for itself, and from that point, I had become basically entranced into playing the game. And since then, I have maintained that course and have maintained a positive outlook, much like I had when it came to launch, continuing to grow in collection and in power in both arena and other modes. But I'd say that very much starting it off, it was more so amazement of how much it could be for a mobile title and how merciful it was compared to other mobile games that I had downloaded, which were either ad-flogged or not very full of content. And I'd say that very much so to this day, I do not regret the choice of beginning Faye.
I guess I'll go next then. I started at launch too, and the first unit that I pulled was actually Takumi. I didn't realize how I didn't realize how lucky that was until like everyone started complaining about it
Same.
on Reddit. I actually started it as a way to like try and get into more Fire Emblem games because I had only played like Fates and a bit of I think Blazing Blade. That didn't work out too well because life started kicking my teeth in.
No.
I still think it's a good game, or at least a good time killer, but I think it has a long ways to go if it wants to survive, really.
Right.
Did somebody not go?
Yeah.
I think
Ether.
So, yeah, I started about a week after launch. I didn't know the game because I hadn't played any Fire Emblem games before. I only learned it because I was at a basketball game and I saw someone playing it on their phone. So, I wasn't playing any mini games at the time. To that date, I don't think I've played many mobile games. So I gave it a try for some reason, and I just got stuck on it. It was at the beginning of the game, pretty free to play friendly, still kind of is, and I'm free to play in basically everything I do. So
Yep.
kind of just got stuck onto it because it was one of the first games I played. Not entirely sure what exactly about it. Probably like collecting and just doing things because I had a lot of free time back then.
And just
when
like
we were
most,
young.
just like most of you guys, apparently a lot of us in the Nimdom have started on launch day. There were like some people starting like July with summer celebration, but most people started around day 1, day 2, the first like month of launch. So they're not like me, where I started. So you guys must have had a lot of fun. I mean, when you look at the way the game's evolved, you get 2 CYO heroes now. You get legendary,
Yeah.
a free
you get spoiled.
seasonal. We'll also get Hero Rises soon, and Fjordman Air. That's like what, 7 5-stars? That's pretty good. When
Right.
you guys start out with like
Nothing.
Draw, Riomas, and Minus Attack Lins. So
Actually-
you guys.
If you got Ryoma, you were considered super lucky. He was top 3, possibly number 1. Actually, he was number 1.
Yeah,
Best
number
swordsman in the game. Ryoma.
Oh yeah.
Because he had DC. I remember when DC swords mattered, and they were like, "Oh, cool, that's awesome." And then now it's like, you know, DC swords are cool, but they'll never get refined because IS hates them for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Ryoma. I still think they should get refined eventually.
Not gonna lie though, I had such terrible variants at launch. I basically didn't get a 5-star until like hundreds of orbs in, and it was a plus attack minus speed Sheena, which back then you basically couldn't do anything.
Yeah, she literally hit nothing.
Nope.
You prepared
And
yourself
yeah,
for it,
I just had terrible 5-star rates back then.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say likewise to myself. It took about 2 weeks into the game that I finally got my first 5-star, who was Lin. At that time, the first Grand Hero battle, Narshin, was being released, so I only had one 5-star going in, and it was... I mean, Lin at the time wasn't half bad. She was very fast.
Wait, she was top 3, dude. She was top 3.
Her damage output was a little lacking because she wasn't, like, good IVs or anything, but she was definitely very adept at the time, although not exactly enough to carry Narshin's GHB. But after that, I had terrible variance until well after that GHB. By the time the second Grand Hero happened, I got my second 5-star, just to put in perspective of how long it took just to get any at that time. The variance was very difficult.
Jeez, honestly, I didn't even know Hero Fest had a rate increase. I just saw, hey, there's a recognizable character, Ike, and I like all these characters. So I'll pull on that banner. I'm like, oh, I got lucky.
You seriously didn't realize that? Damn.
Yeah, I got 2 Ikes,
Oh my.
Reinhardt, 2 Jennies, a Ninian, a Crom, and a Lind, and a Leo.
Wow, it's nice that you remember it so well.
Yeah, no, because they were like my arena comp for a while. Because, yeah. And then, I didn't know, but I free summoned the Zelgius, and it was like, wow, that's cool. He's that guy from Radiant Dawn. Like, I wonder how good he is. I didn't know how good he was until someone told me. I was like, wow. That, very faithful to his games is my first reaction. Because although Black Luna isn't as broken as Eclipse, because that would half all your defense and resistance by 100, and then times his attack stat by 5. That's how broken it was in Radiant Dawn Power.
He also had one more skill. What was it again?
I forgot. Did he have another skill?
He did.
I think.
Did he have Nihil?
Oh, Nihil. There
I think
you go.
he might have had Nihil. Let me check.
But yeah, like I completely get you. Also, when you first started the game, do you guys remember if you? Actually, some of you guys probably didn't, but for me, I remember so well the first time ever playing Ursula's GHB. That was the first GHB I could not beat. That was pretty early on.
That was actually hellish.
That was hellish because you had no room to maneuver, and back then, because there was no skill inheritance, the key to beating that was Nino with drawback. If you didn't have drawback, you couldn't do this.
Yep.
So yeah,
I mean, I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even do it with Nino because I had, I think at that point, 1 5-star. That was just Sheena. My rates were terrible back then. I had nothing. So yeah, trying to do it with 4 stars.
The amount of feathers we got. Jeez, you guys. Looking back, it took like a whole month to get 1 5-star. The game actually looked like it was gonna be one of those like a Pokemon Go, popular for a couple months, dead next week, like a quick and cash grab.
Wait, Pokemon Go didn't die that fast.
Pokemon Go took a while to die off, and then it came back up, and now it's dying.
Okay, is it really back? Huh.
After Let's Go, yes, it came back a little bit.
That's neat. But I think the first GHB I struggled with was I think it was also Ursula.
Yeah.
Remember when Poison
rerun
Dagger
for
was
the
good?
VHBs for GHB number 1, which is the highlight of first anniversary. That was just really fun.
Right.
I was mostly using I had a lot of armor. I had a device team, but usually when I'm just like, I'm bored, I'm tired, I'm like, let's just go into a cavalry team. And I'm like, oh shit, she has Blarwolf. Oh no. I had to use Sigurd for most of the. Oh, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember there was a time when you couldn't say.
Yeah.
I used Sigurd with obviously Crusaders War, and then I stomped that map. That was great. Man, Hero Fest 3 was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Got my first steady breath there.
Yeah, in terms of Grand Heroes, I remember when I first, Narshin at first was probably what I thought would be the most difficult, But after that, Ursula most certainly was the one that kept me up for the longest, because at the time I had 2 5-stars, Leo and Lynn. And my while I did have Nino, she wasn't exactly 5-star material or anything, and there was no skill inheritance, so I was quite honestly stuck for hours just trying to figure out how to solve that lunatic difficulties map.
Wait, wasn't hard the highest?
No, it was lunatic and hard, and then they added Infernal with Legion.
What? I'm pretty sure the Narshan was hard. The highest difficulty is hard.
Oh yeah, no, Narshan's was. Oh, sorry, Narshan's was hard, but I believe Ursula was one of the first ones to have a lunatic difficulty. Was it not?
I think she started off as hard. Lunatic was a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, maybe
I think Lunatic was added in the summer update, I believe. But I don't think Camus and Xander had one.
No, they didn't.
I suppose not. I'll need to verify this later, but
Oh yeah.
all I can say is that.
Oh yeah. So I recently just like screwed around a bit, and I recently went through the dreaded chapter 13, chapter 11, 12, 13 chain challenge from the book 1, the infamous ones that were stupid because they had time limits.
Back then, yeah.
Why did they make... And then I'm like, wait, this is easy.
This is
and
easy
then
now.
You just stomp it. So, no.
All right, but what were you saying, Legion?
No, I was saying that while I did have struggles with Ursula at the time, it was not the most difficult because I was still able to complete it within its original time frame. Michaelis was an interesting situation afterwards because I don't know if any of you remember, but there was one random hour where you could actually do Michaelis' GHB before it was released, because there was a challenge that was in Japan. If everybody could, if a certain number of people could defeat Michaelis' GHP in an hour, then we would get a free copy of him later.
And we did.
Yeah, we did. We succeeded.
I mean, they did. The Japanese did. Hey, Japanese people!
Woo! We weren't informed about this at the time. The Americans, if I'm not mistaken, we actually
Canadian.
did get their award.
Just
Sorry, anybody English-speaking wasn't informed out west. And so we just had an hour where Michaelis was up and nobody could understand why. So nobody was able to prepare any strategies and they all had to go in guns blazing. So I'd say that having to try to figure out how to even beat the lowest difficulty of Michaelis' GHB at the time was probably one of my biggest challenges as a starting player. But it wasn't until Volter's Grand Hero Battle that I actually couldn't physically beat it, because his infernal difficulty with what limited units we had at the time, I think that Brave Heroes either hadn't started yet or was just getting started. I believe that it did. Volter, Sacred Stones. I think he was just before we started Choose Your Legend.
I think he was right after, because the Sacred Stones banner came chronologically after the CGH, that one, I believe.
If so, then at the time I didn't exactly have the resources to go in with it, and as a result his GHB flattened me. Because that was when one of the first brutal reinforcement maps with a difficult terrain setup. And while even now he is still very difficult, at that time I actually physically couldn't complete one of the difficulties. And that's the only time I've ever had that problem with Grand Hero.
Anyone remember the first GHB, the first TT? Oh, I've heard legends of the first Tempest Trials.
You've heard legends? You could literally go on my YouTube channel and
watch
me
watched
do it.
And it was painful to watch.
It was painful, yeah.
It was also funny to watch like your old crappy mic on the first Hero Fest summoning.
Wow, way to bring it up.
Wow, that call out.
Shots.
No, I don't mind it. It was like, it's like wholesome time. When Faye was like in the good old days, and now it's like soulless and empty.
Yeah, back then everything they did, you could feel the love and thinking back then, and then now they've just kind of streamlined everything, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
They can't even it's gotten to a point where I expect anniversary quests, because they always do get quests for this kind of stuff. There's not even quests for anniversaries where you get 20 ores if you do all these set challenges. There's not even that anymore. This anniversary just feels really weak and uncaring.
Mm-hmm.
Just make him shut up for 5 minutes. Give him 5 stars. Ah, yes.
Well, we still got 44 orbs in total, combined login bonus and the daily maps, as opposed to the 100 we got last year.
Oh,
for comparison's sake.
All right, actually, that's a good time to move on to the next subject, which is rating of game's current state and why. Like, what do you guys think so far about the game, and really where it should go, and why do you think what you think?
I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Whoa. Yeah. Wait. Let's put this in perspective, because depending on like your educational system, some people think like a 7 out of 10 is a failure. You know.
Yep.
In my eyes, 5 out of 10 is the average.
Yep. Okay.
I know that's like a D, but that's what I look at as the average.
Close to where we rated it. We rated a 5.7 out of a 5.75, which is basically a D. I feel there's reasons because, like, again, they're trying to help change out and balance things, but then they do it in a way that just still screws over players who don't spend money on the game and screws over non-whales. Because like, you're still like sure, we complain about whales, right? But the people who spend the most money on the game are dolphins. They're like, it's always like 60% people are dolphins, like casuals who will spend money to like break a pity rate or get their favorite hero. They can't spend all their money to get every 5-star, and that's the way Heroic Ordeals go. That is the most Dragon Flowers you can get, 40, unless you want to wait for AR reset, which if they go by every color for every week as a rotation, you'll get around 400 per week, which if it takes 860 to max out one Gen 1 and Gen 2 unit to max bonus stats, that's ridiculous. It will take you, if you're just doing AR, 2 years to get 1. That's why.
Right.
Yep.
Like, you're definitely right about that. I remember somebody talking about them trying to max out when their first infantry hero to +10, and that they did like virtually everything, and they got them to +9, I believe. They couldn't even do it.
Because Book 2 units give 8. Book 1 units give a solid 2.
And you got to keep in mind, in Book 3 so far, there's only been 1 infantry.
Right.
So it's literally been impossible, even if it doesn't matter how much they grind. So I'm looking forward to what ICE does here, because I feel like this. I think they are doing the right thing by putting this system, Dragon Flowers, in the game, but the execution is going to piss a lot of people off.
Just like Grails.
Right. I will say on a personal perspective that I believe that the Dragon Flowers are definitely at a limited state right now, and it's going to come down to what kinds of banners they release in the future. Of course, having to get every new unit in order to be able to max out one of your allies is a bit difficult, well, very difficult, but at the same time I will say that my expectations are that these Dragon Flowers aren't necessarily supposed to be the kinds of things that you're supposed to be able to distribute to more than maybe 1 or 2 units at max level, because it is essentially, especially for infantry, a form of a summoner support, which at the time was supposed to just be including 1 unit getting an extra couple little buffs. And reasonably, these Dragon Flowers are either supposed to be used to provide some small pushes to units at a particular stat. I will say that if you have a stat that takes a lot of Dragon Flowers just to up once, it's a little unfortunate. But if you're trying to just add a little buff here and there, those are very cheap. If you're trying to max out a unit, you're going to have to take a long haul, which is to my expectation. It should take a while to max out a unit on these regards. However, I do believe that it's going to come down to the units which are released as to whether or not it is effective or simple to do so. And even then, yeah, you'll probably have some dolphin favoring on this particular regard, because you'll need to summon new units consistently, or rely on free units at Ether Raids, which, given how Ether Raids is currently scaled out, that might not pan out too well for some people.
The problem with Ether Raids is that, Ether Raids isn't really something consistent for people. I mean, you'll do fine, but like, well, this is still the first week, so seeing how we go from tier 21 plus is going to be interesting. But yeah, I mean, Ether Raids takes a lot of time every week, and not everyone wants to do that commitment. At the very least nowadays, we don't have to play it every single day. We can structure a bit better, but I guess we'll see. This new system's just in play, so we'll see.
Right. From what I've seen so far in this system, well, first of all, in terms of just before we even go into systematic update, the fact that they have changed some of the maps, the particular maps of focus being Spring Breeze and Lava Flows, nerfing them, I believe has made a lot of defenses more difficult to maintain, but it's also made winning your fights a lot easier, which can alleviate a little bit of stress. Now, of course, a well-structured team can still be very difficult to approach, but now there aren't as many situations where you could outright just don't have much of a chance to win. Now, of course, if you're trying to build a good defense team, this is unfortunate for you, but if you're just trying to be able to burn through all your fights and be able to win while also spending all your ether at an efficient rate, this is probably something that will benefit you. Which,
Okay.
given...
Well, the biggest
Yes.
thing is, you know why they did this, right? They're like, wow, Duma sales, they weren't high enough. Let's make ether defense harder to win. So let's make everyone need Dumas. That's how I see it anyways.
I mean, to be fair, they probably didn't have enough time to react to that. I don't think it was a very reactionary thing. I can see what you're saying, but it's not very reactionary that they just buy those maps because
They
Duma
probably planned it
sales
out.
and this update within a month.
No, they probably
But-
planned it out, and the way it was structured regardless was that they were going to win out of it because they put Duma out ahead of time, and they probably planned it that way anyways.
Yeah, I
to,
can imagine
to give
that
more
they
reason
probably...
to pull for Dumas, but yeah.
Right. Well, and whatever. Right now, Duma is not very impactful. It's going to take at least another 2 to 4 months before that even starts to make an impact, because even if you're losing a little less lift loss, you can't exactly gain much because there's no offensive bonus on his
Wait,
seasons.
what do you mean by that?
You're only able to get a maximum of 100 lift per fight because there's no blessing bonus as of right now. So
Right.
while you are able to conflict a little bit more in your tier, Duma's mitigating your loss isn't going to get exactly help much outside of ranking, especially if
Well,
you're
that
in
matters.
19 or above.
You reaching
will
tier 20
matter.
means a lot. I mean,
You
sorry,
won't
reaching tier 21 means a lot.
You're not going to be able to make tier 21 without another blessing, without a unit that actually can associate with Duma on the offense side, which
But people
would be...
are making into tier 21. If you were already there, you basically just need Duma.
Yeah, you basically just need Duma on the off season in order to be able to climb and rank. That much I'll agree with.
Okay.
Duma isn't quite at his maximum impact yet, but he will be soon.
Mm-hmm.
And in this regard, I will say, yeah, I'm a little bit pleased that the defense maps aren't exactly as structured in such a way where you can make sometimes even almost brain dead setup. Like if you just stack a couple of mages in the corner, it's pretty easy for a Spring Breeze map to take over. But not necessarily shoo-in, but easier. That being said, however, I will agree that having both the nerf to these maps and then also having defensive blessing units getting pushed out at the same time, you can definitely say they are either encouraging you to make very strong teams or make teams that can mitigate as much of your defense loss as possible per fight.
My opinion on ether rates, I like it honestly. It's really fun. Every daily battle is really fun to just go around.
Wait,
And I don't
before you
try to
say all
max
that, what tier are you?
it. Tier 20, 19.
Oh, okay.
So like I draw, I'm like 19. But basically, like the way I play is really risky, and I don't min max at all. Like if I lose a unit, I'm like it's fine. Let's just keep going. I really because like, and I'm having fun. If I play like that, I'm having fun. But for you guys who love the min max, I know you guys love min maxing, especially my boy Legion. But like if you guys, I'm gonna just show my ether defense rate just because I like screwing around a lot. Here's my ether rate defense. You guys can go look at it. Yes. It's the
God damn it.
100% defense win rate
If you
confirmed.
guys want, I'm not gonna edit this in, but if you guys want to see it, it's just literally Ogma. Ogma standing by himself. That's it.
Yep,
Is that your warding breath, Ogma?
it's a warding breath Ogma.
I gave him odd res weight. You know,
You're a
odd res
terrible
weight and
human
barrier played earlier today. It was great.
Ugh.
It's
All right.
just, it's so bad. But overall, I mean, like, I'm losing 80 lift per day, but I feel like I'm doing fine. And I find it really fun. It's honestly really fun. Just, like, I like the, like, fighting. I like
Yeah.
strategizing. It's kind of fun. It's really fun.
Yeah. I will agree on that. I think that, especially after not having to deal with as many brain dead setups with Spring Breeze, I will admit it was starting to get a little old. Going through these fights, if I'm not trying to really min-max it, it is admittedly pretty fun to be able to apply some new strategies, see if I can apply units that I've never used anywhere else before. And it has been exceptionally fun to be able to try to counter more well-planned out strategies. That being said, I will admit that being the kind of guy who wants to get as much lift as possible, because, of course, I need heroic grails for a certain Legion build. With that regard, it is admittedly a little difficult to be able to maintain a good lift that can actually tier up or get good rank unless I have some of the blessing heroes. Though I will say that I have been able to nearly push tier 21 purely off of the free air that we've gotten, which I found to be pretty nice.
Almost is not good enough.
I've
gotten
almost is not good enough,
too.
but the problem is there hasn't been a good week to start with yet. I've
You
been
say
in
it's
tier 20 for 2 weeks, and
Legion.
this week you can't get up. Yes?
Can you say it's a breath of fresh air?
Yes, it's a breath of fresh air.
Someone should boot him.
Thank you. This is why we have you
Didn't
here.
crash.
Oh.
That being said, purely just off of that, even if I'm at I can lose if I use just one air right now. I can still lose maybe 3 to 4 fights and make it to the tier 21 just off that alone.
Okay, well, when you do it, let me know, because you haven't done it so far.
No, because I've been in tier 20 for too little bit. I haven't been
Yeah.
in tier 20 for too long. But
Right.
at the same time, I feel like it's feasible right now. But it does take a maximum amount of my effort on the defense side in order to be able to make sure it is fully possible.
Which
My
means...
offense, however, I've been enjoying a lot and still been able to make maximum output.
See, that's the key point. That's why I absolutely need Duma, because I'm that close as well. If I had a Duma, I should make it.
I don't know how you're gonna make it with Duma, seeing as how he's on the opposite season to Air. You'll never be able to make enough lift with just 100 per fight to make it. Because, let's put it this way, you have, what now, 5, 6... I think you have about 12 to 13 fights per week. That's about 1,300 lift. You're at 9,400 at the beginning of the week, and you need to be at 1,100 by the end, which is 1,600, which takes 16 fights if you're going at a 100 per. And that's not what we can do right now, so it's actually impossible.
Wait,
without-
Actually, mathematically, I just want to point it out there. If you have everything maxed out and you play all your matches perfectly, you get exactly 16 matches.
Is that true right now? I did not know that.
Yeah, you do.
Also, you gotta keep in mind, next season, the bonus hero is Duma.
It is Duma, though it
And
only
next season,
works on
isn't it
defense.
Duma season?
It is Duma's season, though it only
Well, then
affects
why-
on the
why
defense
would you not-
side.
So
You'll
wait a
only
second. Yeah? Are
You'll
you...
only be able to get 100 lift per fight, which means
Right?
if what they're saying is correct and you can do 16 fights, you would have to not only have 0 loss total, which one Duma will mitigate a maximum of 20. So you still need to beat at least 3 units or not lose. And then you have to do a perfect season 100 every single fight just to be able
Wait,
to
are
make
you
it.
sure Duma only mitigates 20? I thought if you had Anima
It's
Blessed...
Anima Blessings times Duma times 4.
Right.
And there's 6 units, so you have 1 Duma, 5 Light Blessing, Anima Blessing. 5 times 1 is 5, times 4 is 20.
What?
So you can only mitigate 20 of your loss per fight in defense. And then if you kill 3 units, that's an extra 60 off, which will be 0.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that's wrong, but other than that...
Correct me if
That's
I'm
the-
wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth your time. If you're, say, free to play, like a lot of us here, it's not worth your time to invest into Duma.
Not
I
invest
mean,
in
It
Duma.
honestly
Get one.
isn't.
Get one, but don't
Get one.
think you're gonna get too far with that.
Yeah, I got mine as
You
a
do
minus
realize,
tag
like,
plus the
It's literally impossible then.
No, straight up, like,
If you don't
For
have
me-
Duma, it's literally impossible.
I mean,
For
you
me,
still have
if
to
I'm-
beat 3 units.
Like for me, if I was actually tryharding Ether raids, because I don't, I'm just playing it for fun. I'm in tier 20 right now, just gonna be chilling in there for a while. If I just during like light season, if I just ran everyone with Light's Blessings on air, I would get into tier 21 without even trying, because it's that easy. For me, because I have a troll team.
Right.
Well, speaking about how people play AR, they gave it a 5.5 out of 10 on average. Which is more than Arena, which got a 5 out of 10.
You should probably explain where this is coming from first.
So basically, we had a little survey poll, and while it is a smaller group of people, they did vote in what their favorite game mode was, and they rated them on like 1 out of 10 scale, and then I averaged them out. So, do you want me to go through every one, or should we just go
through some,
you-
but let them know how many people it was, so everyone has.
It's
a good
around
idea.
like 45 people. This one's smaller because we just didn't have enough time and there wasn't enough publicity.
All right.
But overall, Arena got a 5 out of 10. AA got a 6 out of 10. Arena is pretty awesome. Arena A for Rays got a 5.5. TT was the highest with a 6.5. Tap Battle obviously is the lowest with a 4 out of 10. Grand Conquest a 5 out of 10. Forging Bonds a 5.5. Somehow more than Arena. I don't know how. And Voting Gauntlet tied in last place with Tap Battle at 4 out of 10.
Sounds
Because
alright.
Voting Gauntlet just sucks.
Splendid.
The voting gauntlet is like meant just to piss off everybody at this point, so I completely agree with that.
It is entirely a community-based event.
Yes. Well, yeah. speaking
Free
of-
feathers.
Well, yesterday, TT started, and how's everyone doing? Has anyone started yet? Or
I'm 20k.
I
yeah.
am 20k as well.
Also, fun fact. Apparently, you know Titania? She's originally supposed to be a healer.
That would make more sense.
She has no follow-up animation, which is what most healers have. Healers
Right.
don't get follow-up animation, so she originally was supposed to be a healer, but since apparently had too many TT healers, she became a fire maid.
We didn't have enough. We didn't have many TT healers. We just didn't have.
You know-
we just had too many seasonal healers.
Too many
That's the issue.
Like for example, Marth was supposed to be a cap sword, Groom Marth, but they made him an axe because if you see his animation, it's more of like leaning towards like how a cab uses the animation of the sword. It's not
Right.
axes don't usually you don't wield an axe like a trowel. I don't know how he does it. It's really
Right.
weird.
All right.
Well, overall, this TT is pretty good. Variety is okay. It's a little sweet and wholesome, but yeah, I mean, like if you're joining this critically acclaimed franchise for the writing, and then you see Faye, it's not a very good showing of the franchise's story potential. Yeah, because
I will.
we have like turn characters that were deep into one sentence things like Reinhardt, Magic Thunder guy who is a meme. That's all he is now. I'm sorry.
Okay, hold on. I would give this game 2 separate ratings actually, because I think there's a very specific point where it started to go downhill, and now it's just going up and down and up and down. I think the whole thing kind of started going down after the Ira incident.
Wait, you think that's the trigger point?
Ira
I think
Gate is
that's a
actually a
big
pretty
part of
popular trigger gate.
I'm not leaning towards that. I mean, I was part of that too because I thought Ira was going to be free because it didn't make sense in terms of what they did. At the point I knew it could have been Dorcas or Ira, but I thought they were leaning towards, you know, Dorcas. I mean, not Dorcas, Arden.
Arden.
But look, at that point when they put her on the banner by herself, I think they were just trying something, but I don't think that was like the critical point where the game like went downhill.
Unit-wise, it was also part of the issue because that's when we started having, besides Reinhardt himself, that's when we started having units constantly clamoring for attention with really high power and really high effectiveness. Like, Ira became meta as of that point, and was at that point, that's when we started seeing a lot more units trying to compete head-to-head with each other at a very consistent rate. Like, that's when sword creep started.
Hold on. Okay, for me, I didn't view it that way. I really think the game went downhill when it became too armor heavy. When it was still infantry, I was okay with that. Because when it was still infantry, you had diversity in arena, right? You can go in arena, you could fight infantry, calves were still kind of there, armor was obviously there, dragons were obviously there. So there was still diversity, and I didn't feel it was that bad. I didn't like the Ira thing because it just felt like we got misled, and it was just felt like a huge cash grab from IS, because they released one banner and then they kept Ira out of it, and it just put Ira on the next banner. So they were trying to like double the spending there. I didn't like that, but I didn't think that was where it went downhill. I thought it was when armor became a big.
I think
thing.
where it went down
starting,
was Winter's Envoy.
Right,
That's when it
that's what I
really.
say.
That's when it took full force. I'm saying that's when it started, because after that we had the Halloween armors, which is when we got our first ranged armors, which was the encouragement for something worse in the future.
But people were excited about that because it was the first time ever we got ranged armor.
It was exciting at the time, but it was also an omen for things to come in a very happy-go-lucky disguise.
And also, what I do, so like, I still like the genealogy banner was also like, it's still like, unlike most banners nowadays, they have like counters to major flaws in the arena, so you can deal with them. But if Sigurd with Crusader's Ward, where he would block Reinhardt meta, you had Deirdre who would just soak up damage from Reinhardt with her giant rest stat and QR, and then you had units like who else was on that banner? Tail 2, right? Well, Tail 2 was just a normal generic blue mage.
Wait, yes, Tail 2. Though it wasn't accessible blue mage, yes, generic blue mage.
He also had drive speed, which was our first drive skill in the pool, 4-star pool, because it was originally on Blue Cena, right? Lamp Cena.
Yes.
Lamp Cena. Speaking of that, let's just see why overfinds.
All right. You know what? I think we should be moving on to the next topic, which is how you change the game to make it better. But I think we've been talking about a lot about that at this point.
Yeah.
Seems
What's the
to be
next
the way
topic
we're
after
going.
that?
The one thing that hasn't been mentioned though, that I think
What?
the game really needs, is like another cleaning up of the 5-star.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
You really.
disgusting. It's disgusting.
The problem with that is like the first time they did it, they kind of killed foddering, like crucial fodder. I always considered like Hinata crucial fodder, Shanna crucial fodder, and they just became completely like they just disappeared.
I mean, yeah. I don't think it's demotions necessarily that most make the need. What we need right now is something to help the pool in general, because we are at the point now where we have over 300. I think we're at about 300 characters
What
in
do
the
you mean
normal
in
starting
general?
pool. Like, we're going to need to start either splitting up the pool or maybe changing up the rates for certain like rarities, just something of that sort, because right now with the oversaturation of 3 stars and 4 stars, it's becoming more and more difficult for you to even find, for example, a Hinata in the pool that you want to fodder, since there's just so much that is now competing heads. More demotions would simply mean more units falling into this particular pool. And while I think we need more demotions, there are some 5 stars like Mist who are not very deserving of that 5-star lock. I think that we're going to need something to help the pool in general in order for that transition to still be reasonable for the average summoner.
I think the perfect thing to do with this case is, if you're not going to fix Gen 1 units the way you're going to, I say do something like a friend point summon, or like a really cheapo summon to get like these outdated Gen 1 units with refined, and then because
I've been arguing for that for a long time, but yeah, I know.
Because think about this, right? If you're not going to buff them, right, you should give them an advantage over Gen 2 or Gen 3 units, where you can easily max them up to their highest potential faster than Gen 3 units. You shouldn't be able to 5-star leg yarn faster than Kata at this point. That's how ridiculous it is. There was a banner where you could 5-star leg yarn faster than Kata statistically. That
5-star plus 10.
5-star plus 10 Kata. That's what I meant. Okay. But yeah, if you're going to make power creep units, make other units who are still solid, which is more available. FGO does this. I mean, I know
a lot of gacha games do this.
A lot
it
of
just
gacha
makes no
games.
sense.
Dokkan Battle does it, and you know what? Are they losing money? No, they're beating Faye in sales. I mean, FGO is the highest grossing mobile game. Dokkan's up there too, and they still have free to play options for the players. While Faye, sure, we have Grand Hero battles, but remember, you only get 3, and then you have to get heroic grails. So free to play summons would be the best, and you know what they can use? Arena coins, because they're useless. No one uses arena coins, and maybe give incentive to people playing more arena, so they can get arena coins, so they can summon and feed their gambling addiction.
Honestly, though, my opinion on this is, so they added this. You know how they added summoning tickets, and we
Right.
basically haven't seen them ever since. My idea is you look at the daily quests. Some of the rewards, like 1,500 universal crystals or something. No one really needs those. You could
Yeah.
straight up. They also indicated subs. They kind of indicated they're making a split in the generations for the pools because of dragon flowers, so they could just straight up take out a lot of units out of the current 3 and 4 star pools right now, make a permanent banner with them in there, and you can, like, I don't know, have a daily quest instead give a summoning ticket or something instead of 1,500 universal crystals that you'll probably never use.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
even
also,
that
why-
would be decent
Yeah, and like
compared to
speaking
what
about
they're doing right now.
Why are like what's the point of having level 20 crystals anymore? Why not, if you're just gonna keep them around, make them all level 40 so we can all just use them? Because sometimes like I'm lazy, I don't want to do it. But like it's not even necessary anymore because we don't have to level them up to 20 anymore for fodder. Yeah.
Hmm.
A lot of
Wow.
things, a lot of resources in this game just completely lack meaning at this point.
Right.
And some are just like, we don't talk about Divine Dew because why do I have to refine weapons to get Dew now? I know it made sense back then, but now since there's so many refines I want to do, I'm gonna have to like scrape all these like Zambatos and Wudaos for refines just to get some Dew
Yep.
because I have over 1,000 crystals. It's ridiculous. Why isn't there an easy conversion method? Huh? That's just such a weird
Well,
thing
to be honest, that's not such a big deal. It just means you have to just refine random stuff. It's pointless and it's kind of dumb, but like it's not
Yeah.
such a big deal. It's not like
It's
something
like a
that
quality of life, you know what I mean?
it is slightly quality of life, yeah.
It's weird.
Hmm.
Going back on like the summoning thing, I was agreeing with Za about like using arena coins for like fodder banners or something like that, where they introduce like, hey, this banner will feature like Hinata and Shanna and this character, and you can use arena coins to summon here, but
Mhm.
like you're only gonna get 3 stars or below.
And you know what
But-
also would make these banners more enticing? Drop demote a certain unit for a limited amount of time. Say someone like Lucina for the
But
whole
here-
duration of the banner.
Here's the
Make
thing.
her like easier to get. I don't know.
Here's the thing that people still don't understand, and they will fight me when I say it. Faye is not free-to-play friendly.
It isn't.
People don't understand this still. They look at it because Faye's their only game that they play, and they view it from Faye's perspective, and they think, well, that's actually fair. No, you look at other games. No, there are so much more free-to-play friendly options out there.
Yeah, and like they outperform them in certain ways and like profit margins. So I'm not sure why Faye is on like this high horse right there. And no free to play summons.
Right. Look, 1 and 2 stars are probably the most underutilized thing that they've ever put in this game. You start the game out, you go to like, you know, special maps, and you get those weekly like, you know, Gunter or whatever it's right now for special maps, and you get a 1-star or 2-star Gunter, and that's it. That's the extent of what they committed to 1 to 2 star. I think the idea always was to expand that in the future and to do more with 1 and 2 stars, but they have never done so, and that's super unfortunate because that's really where the game should be going. But yeah, like we've already talked about it, if you just made 1 and 2 stars available through these friend summonings or use arena medals, which everyone has a shit ton of at this point, it would just be a lot more easier for people to deal with. Because the way the game is built up is that you have to get heroes. You have to summon heroes to get their skills and then to use those skills to build your heroes up. The entire game is shuffled towards orbs and spending orbs to make heroes or to get heroes. It doesn't have to be that way.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. It's like arena medals, like you know how Langrisser has like a shop for like arena. They have their own like
Yeah.
arena medals, and they have their friend coins that you get. That's what I was thinking. What Faye could do, they could open up a shop where they feature not just units, but like maybe you could buy feathers with arena medals, but you only could buy like 1 set of them for like a week or bi-weekly thing, and they could always just like rotate in like new units. So like mostly, like they could even rotate. Let's say, I can't think of a good 5-star right now that needs a demote, but let's say they put like Lucina there. You could buy her, but she'll be a 1-star. You'll have to raise her all the way up to 5-star.
Yeah, at least that way, it's like, oh, hey, feathers have more use, because a lot of people just have tons of feathers stored up, and if they don't, they're just like leveling up random characters. But if you added this aspect to it, oh yeah, rationally rationing your feathers will make so much more sense. But yeah, I like ideas like that.
And I think like IS values 5 stars at a way higher value than they really truly are. Because remember, 5 stars in other games, they're like, let's look at FGO again. FGO, right? They are top tier. They're some of the best characters you can get in the game, and they're very rare. But they're semi worth it. But like 5 stars in Fae, right? They could be minus attack, minus speed, minus defense, or something that you can't fix, right? So like, what are you gonna do? And you need 11 copies of them to max them out to their fullest potential.
That's the biggest one.
And with a very low rate and very low pool, you'll get just you're not gonna get many. And it's really not. That's not very free to play. That wouldn't be free to play to me. And it's like. And I feel like people would be more inclined to spend money if they would got like a ticket for a free 5-star of their pick, because like people are scared because they don't want to end up with a bad investment. Some people will go thousands of orbs and not get their character. That's a yikes. That's a big yikes. Why is someone allowed to spend 1,200 orbs for their favorite character and get a bunch of Lukes or Sabers or anything, and not their premier character that they wanted? Why is that? Why? That's just weird.
All right. Anyways, we should move on from that. There's a talk about arena tiers and comps, but I think we should move that to another time, because I really think arena as is right now, there's not much to discuss about, because you either make it into tier 21 or you struggle to like go in and go out. That's it. Is there any disagreements with that?
Yeah, and like arena comps nowadays, like looking at the poll, it's just, it's like very meta based. It's like dragons, you have in certain characters, it's like very similar. Some of the units I've seen, Soleil, Tiki, Noe, Faye, those are very common. And for armored, it's obviously the Sheena, Drog, and Gwendolyn, because those are the most common. And there aren't those the only 3 and 4-star armors now? Just Sheena, Gwendolyn, and Drog?
I mean, you can use FE.
Now FE's obvious.
I run FE.
Yeah. Okay. So do you guys play daily and spend money? I know Nim is famously free to play, but do you guys spend money?
I did the Burger King Happy Meal, and I haven't done anything for my own savings since
Burger King Happy Meal? It's not how you call it.
The Burger King Happy Meal.
Black Knight.
I spent a little bit here and there, but like, I just think orbs are a little expensive and they don't give much incentive, like I've said earlier. Maybe give like, if you spend this amount of money, just so your investment is safe, you get like a free guaranteed 5-star ticket, where you get to pick which one you want, so you don't get screwed over, and if you do get your character, you get a bonus. Good job, congrats. And like that ridiculous New Year's pack, no one's gonna. I'm sorry, that was not the best idea. It's a good idea on paper because
actually, I'm pretty sure the Japanese loved it.
The Japanese bought it up. It's weird, but they loved it, right? But like, I'm saying, like, you don't want to start off with the big boy pack. You want to start out with like the Black Knight pack, and then suddenly increase it over, and give more bonuses. I mean, the Black Knight pack. Oh wait. The Black Knight pack is one of the best packs ever. It's a really good pack. It's $5. You get Black Knight, 12 orbs, 12. What was it again? I forgot.
I believe it's 6,000 feathers or something.
Yeah, and like the idea for the monthlies, they're kind of cool, but I don't think 6,000 feathers is very cool. I think it's a nice, but it could be more. You know what I mean?
I mean, that again goes to the fact that that FEH isn't that free-to-play friendly. I mean, you can technically compete and do everything in this game as a free-to-play player, but that still doesn't make, like, just because you can do that doesn't make the game friendly to free-to-play players. But yeah, that goes to that point.
Even again.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out there that we're mostly looking at the game from a more competitive standpoint, because if you're just a casual who occasionally plays the game every now and then, it's still, I would argue it's still free to play friendly. You can still have a good time playing the game if you're not tryharding.
Right. If you're, for example, trying to stay in even tier 19 for some people, you might just sprinkle a couple merges here and there. Maybe you haven't need enough bonus unit. You're done. You'll have tier 19, no problems whatsoever. you're trying to get into anything higher than that, you might start needing to throwing some merges on some units. You might have to start planning out their skill sets. You might have to start planning out who scores better. And admittedly, at that point, I can definitely see where that might start to become more difficult because, yes, there are free-to-play options that can technically make it. I mean, I use a free-to-play team, and I can almost stay in Tier 21 if I just wanted to. But at the same time, the amount of investment cost that takes, even without having to go into anything 5-star locked, can be something that would take about a year just to be able to make the arena team competent enough for staying in this threshold. Now, of course, there are only about 1,000 people in Tier 21. I don't expect there to be a huge onslaught of people that should be going for the very top. Nevertheless, though, I believe that there should be a feasible threshold at which you can make it to without having to pile stuff on top of yourself. Like, if there was a ton of people up in the upper tiers, it'd be saturated to the point where it would just trickle back down, score peaks would rise, whatever. But if you're going in and you want to look at the very top, you want to be able to think, alright, if I invest myself in the right ways, I'll be able to make it. Not, alright, I'm going to need 11 copies of these 3 to 4 specific units, and I hope I get them at some point. Because depending on your summoning luck, that's not very feasible. And not to mention the fact that there aren't enough demotes as of this point. The BSD update helped, but there aren't enough demotes as of this point for 3 to 4 star that are technically, you know, like you're actually within reason to use those units and make it up into the upmost tiers. Mm-hmm. You're still going to be at a very big disadvantage. For reference's sake, if you are currently a normal, like, launch-based unit, Gen 1 infantry, and you have your own weapon, which is happening a lot now, you can technically, with a team of those particular units, make it into the, at least, Tier 21, Tier 20, like, you go back and forth, 20.5. But you will need, like, you'll need 11 copies of each of those units. You will need to max out their kits, which will include 300 SP A slots or C slots, which include Disencounter, Joint Hone Speed, Hone Attack 4, Death Blow 4, and you know, those kinds of skills, which requires you to find that particular 5-star, summon them, and then be willing to fodder them off. And that's not even going into the fact that you're still going to need the rest of that kit. And then the fact, on top of all this, that you're going to need a bonus unit that can actually hold itself up against some of the biggest whales that have the strongest teams. Mm-hmm. You're still going to need them to be at a point where they're strong enough to kill at least 75 to 80% of all units that you go up against. Which, for anybody who has a Fjorm or Sharena that they want to use, or an Ana, if they're trying to kill a Surtur, I'm sure that you know the grievances that come from that.
You just forfeit that kill. You just skip it.
Yeah, I actually pick up those kills.
And good luck trying not to kill the enemy unit.
Well, I put Slaying Spear on my Fjord.
I run Lepter and I kill Surturs. Just try hard, Kappa.
It's feasible, but your chances of it are very low because you might be doing 1 or 2 damage, and if your unit is not finely tuned to this particular meta of not killing stuff, if you're not at the point where you can whittle down an enemy's HP consistently, but not kill them, and then have your bonus unit come in and take the kill, sure, even if they have a little bit of a stat buff, you're going to probably be at a significant disadvantage, which will make making those kills even harder. Like, right. You can be at like, for me, I made it to this point after about a year with some pretty bad luck summoning. For another person, it might be 6 months. But even if you're at that point, you still have to be able to invest your bonus units correctly, and then have them be able to go up against the top arena threats without suffering, which can be very difficult for a lot of people. So I feel like, even if it's not exactly impossible, it's very feasible actually to get the units you need to make a competent arena core. You just get, like, at this point you could get 10 Roy, 11 Roy, 11 Marth or whatever, some Shigure. You sprinkle those into a team, you'll probably be able to make tier 21. But you're still going to need all the expensive 5-star locked fodder. You're still going to need to invest in your bonus unit, which either is the Asgard Trio, which you'll have to do really well with to make work, or you're going to have to summon one of the units that happens to be released at the time, invest in them enough for them to be competent, and then still be able to use them for the 2 weeks that they are available in that bonus, just to make tier 21, or even to stay into tier 21
Well,
if
you're not staying.
well stretched.
You're not.
You're not. Like, for me, I would need the top of my rolls for 5 consecutive battles just to be able to stay in feasibly. And that's pretty much at maximum output with an Asgard trio unit, just to put that into perspective. Whereas a whale can have, like, you could have Duma, well, more likely you'll have Surtur, Brave Hector, or Zelgius. You have a team of those 3. And then you have, like, Duma's actually bonus right now, so if you have a Duma there, you literally have to do no effort. Duma kills everything, your score is going to be extremely high, and you'll probably maintain tier 21 with minimal to no effort.
Well,
So it's free to play, possible to make those tiers, but not friendly.
yeah. All right. Does anyone else have anything to add to that?
No.
Not really.
I guess just to put it out there. No. Like yesterday, I decided to do arena because I kind of accepted at this point because I basically maxed out scoring on my units, free to play units. So I just bounced between 20 and 21. But this week I'm giving it a shot. I have 3,776 right now, and I have 171 ranks from dropping out of tier 21. So it's hard.
It is. It is very difficult.
I mean, we technically have a slight boost this week because of Nino's boost. I mean, Nino's refined.
Yeah, you guys.
No, actually,
Sorry,
I don't use it for arena.
Wait, what the heck are you using then?
I use Gronal. It's way more
You're still
broken
using
than Iris'
Gronal?
Dome in arena.
Yeah, I mean,
Gronal is
Okay.
so good in arena, no joke.
like, it's a good
It
tone
lets-
arena, but it depends on your scale. If your scoring isn't going to work from that, you might not want to use it. But if you can score with it, I can see where you're coming from. Go on.
But yeah, I'm mostly just getting carried by Fjorm's scoring because normally my ceiling is 740, and now I have Fjorm's bonus, so then I ceiling 746.
Wow.
But yeah, it's so hard. I'm still because you only get like 300 orbs a month or something on average. So if you want to go build some units, you have to save for at least like half a year, maybe even longer, just to get someone to plus 10. And that's before going for fodder. It's just, yeah, not good right now.
Yeah. Like. Yeah. Oh dear.
Oof. So should we get on to the next topic?